Imagine having to walk over 1 mile each way just to retrieve water. Imagine losing a family member at a young age to a deadly disease because of unsanitary water. This is Lanisha and her 5 children. Lanisha recently lost her son Sadio to the deadly disease of diarrhea at the age of 5. As a result, these 5 young children had to watch their brother pass away at a very young age. In Ethiopia, over 40 million people do not have access to clean water. Also, 1 in 17 children do not see the age of 5 years old in Ethiopia. I really want you to stop and think about that for a minute. Let that sink in. 1 in 17 children do not even see their 5th birthday. My name is Scott Standish. After hearing these stories in Ethiopia and after gaining inspiration from performing over 10 service projects in Central America and Africa, I became inspired to start a nonprofit organization called H Together. At H Together, our mission is to build 10 wells in rural Ethiopia in 2 years. In order to fund this project, we are asking for $120,000. For this project, it will be broken up into 3 phases. Phase number 1, location, selection, and planning. Phase number 2, drilling and installation. And phase number 3, sustainability and economic impact. I will then conclude the presentation with a return on investment and how you can add value to this project. Phase number 1 is location, selection, and planning. This phase will take up the whole first year of the project. With so many people needing help in Ethiopia, one of the hardest decisions to make for this project is deciding which areas to help first. For our target market, we have decided to target rural towns with populations of no more than 500 people. In these rural areas, there is less industry and access to healthcare. Citizens also have to walk a longer distance for water. Targeting these rural towns will also enable us to form personal connections and help those most in need. For this project, we have chosen the region of Afar. Afar is one of the poorest regions in Ethiopia. For this project, we will start in the village of Chifra, make our way down south to Awash, head up the eastern coast to Afambo, and then finally end in the northern region or northern village of Barabi. The next part of phase 1 is critical. This is where we will visit the villages and begin building relationships with the citizens in the villages. A big part of this project is seeking community buy-in. It is vital that we get into those villages and we really spread the message about what we're trying to do. Most importantly, it is vital that we form a leadership committee that will help sustain the project and help implement our needs. They will be responsible for addressing any issues and also maintaining the well into its infancy. Another big part of visiting the villages is evaluating the site for drilling locations. Because they are in rural Ethiopia, it is vital that we find the proper location to where we can drill and create clean water for the citizens of Ethiopia. After we have formed a committee and identified drilling sites, the next phase of the project is the drilling and installation. At each village, drilling and installation of the pump and the well will take 2 weeks, as shown in green. The first step in the drilling process is picking the well. There are really 2 main options when picking the type of well and drilling. The most common type in Africa is hand dug. However, there are some cons to a hand dug well. Hand dug wells are very tough to install and can be very dangerous. They are also very tough to maintain. As a result, for this project, we have chosen the shallow drilling process. These are a lot easier to maintain and a lot safer to install. The drilling process in the well will go 75 feet deep. The next phase is the material type. For this project, we have decided on PVC material versus steel. PVC is very lightweight, corrosion resistant, and easy to install. Finally, the last step is deciding on the finished material. For this project, we have decided for concrete to fill in the well. As you can see on the picture of the left, this is a representation of how the well will be drilled. The main pump will be on the top, and we will touch on that in the next slide. It is filled, the main pipe going 75 feet deep, and then the whole well is filled in with the concrete. The next step is to identify a proper pump. There are three major factors when deciding on a pump. Number one, we need it to be cost effective. Number two, minimal maintenance. And number three, we need it to be long lasting. As a result, we have decided on the AfriDove hand pump. This AfriDove hand pump is easy to maintain and can last over 20 years, so that the committee can easily maintain it and so that it is easy to use. The next phase of the project, and most important, is sustainability and impact. A recent study of a sample of 200 wells in Africa showed that only 24% of wells still provided adequate water and safe water. As a result, it is critical that we take the time to make sure we are sustaining these wells and properly training the committee members. This phase, at each village, this phase, the sustainment and impact will take 2 weeks. So at each village, we will spend 2 weeks installing the well and then 2 weeks making sure we are properly training and sustaining the well. Finally, the last 2 months of the project, we will go back through each village and make sure their wells are being properly maintained. For maintaining the well, the first step is performing comprehensive well and pump training. This includes making sure every committee member and citizen understands the functions of the well, the pump, and also making sure they are able to diagnose any issues. Secondly, we want to make sure the committee members have proper tools in order to diagnose and fix any issues. Number three, we are partnering with Well Beyond, which is a maintenance application that allows committee members to log any issues and to also utilize data to diagnose any issues that may arise. And lastly, we want to make sure that the committee members and associates are properly trained on hygiene and sanitation. We want to make sure they understand the risk and consequences of the spreading of different diseases. Next, we will move on to economic impact. For every $1 invested in water and sanitation, there's an economic return of $15. So let's walk through a few of the benefits. On the picture on the far left, you can see a family spending time together and obviously in a very happy mood. The more we can have clean water wells, the less time family members will spend in the hospital, less time they'll be spending walking to retrieve water, and more time they can spend having valuable time together. Secondly, the picture in the middle showing happy children in school. The more we can keep children and citizens in schools, the more this will help boost the economy, improve industry, and improve the overall growth of the economy in Ethiopia. And lastly, there is lots of opportunity in irrigation. A recent study showed only 6% cultivated land, a possible cultivated land, is being irrigated. At the very least, these water wells in the villages can provide a building block for further irrigation in the future. Lastly, we will talk about return on investment and how you can add value to this project. First, let's start with the cost. For this project, as I mentioned earlier, we are asking for $120,000. $50,000 for starting up the foundation, So really establishing the headquarters and going ahead and purchasing different equipment like the rigging equipment. For drilling, the drilling will cost $2,600 per site. The hand pump will cost $1,500 per site. PVC and grout will cost $575 per site, and the permit for each location will cost $200. Lastly, the remaining money will be spent on the labor to install the wells and also for transportation and housing while we're in Ethiopia. Next, let's move on to benefits. For the benefits, depending on your economic status and how much you invest, there is definitely opportunity for tax deductions. There is also opportunity for naming rights at each well, really an opportunity to leave behind a legacy. But as we move forward, this project is more than just about money. It's the opportunity to create memories, to form relationships with the citizens of Ethiopia, and participate in a project that will provide joy and gratitude. So as we move to the end and conclude, this project is more than just about money. It's about the opportunity to make an impact, to change lives. I want you to think about how it might feel for a mother to watch her son pass away. And you have the opportunity and impact to maybe save people's lives and to help families form further bonding. You have the opportunity to gain a new perspective, to create memories, and to help others that are in need. Thank you very much.